This program is brought to you by Community Trust Bank, Medical City, and the Neely School of Business at TCU. Welcome to Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women. Now, here's your host, Siobhan Palmer.
Hey, welcome back everybody to Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women. My next guest is Dr. Wayne Farley. Dr. Farley is the medical director for Ob-Gyn Hospitals and Quest Care Obstetrics. He practices here at a Medical City Children's Hospital in Dallas. We're going to be talking to Dr. Farley about the FACOG program and other topics. Dr. Farley, welcome.
Thanks a lot. Glad to be here.
You need to embrace your inner chick here. We've got a large female audience. Okay, before we start on the FACOG program, you look like a right tackle for the Detroit Lions. How did you get into Ob-Gyn?
Tight end, Texas Tech Red Raiders.
There you go. Seriously,
So,
were
yes.
you in? Okay.
So how did I get what?
Yeah, how did you get into, first of all, your interest in medicine and then Ob-Gyn specifically?
Well, I had no interest in medicine when I went to Tech. Absolutely not. I was going to become a veterinarian.
Really?
And after undergraduate school, I still didn't know what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So I thought, well, let's do more school. Let's go to graduate school. So I got a master's in biochemistry.
Wow.
2 years later, still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I went to work for my dad's company in Plano, Texas. And 2 years later, decided to go to medical school and
Beautiful.
become an Ob-Gyn. Went to medical school to become an Ob-Gyn.
Okay. And you fell in love with that part of medicine?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
terrific. You know, we've been talking with a lot of your colleagues all throughout the morning about the FACOG program here at Medical City Children's. Tell us how your area of specialization kind of fits into the whole team approach here for FACOG.
Well, our company is contracted with Medical City Dallas to provide the Ob-Gyn hospitalist program. Ob-Gyn hospitalist programs are kind of a new concept and a new approach to healthcare. Got really popular about 2 to 3 years ago.
Okay.
And what an Ob-Gyn hospitalist program does is we provide a base of 4 physicians, 4 board-certified Ob-Gyn physicians that actually rotate and do shift work through the hospital. We're in-house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, to cover any OB/GYN emergencies that we need to cover through the emergency room and through labor and delivery. So we do unassigned deliveries through the labor unit. We take care of GYN emergencies through the emergency room. So some people refer to us as OB/GYN emergency physicians.
Okay.
And we're in-house 24/7 to take care of those problems.
So there's never a lapse time if there's an emergency. Somebody is always here for
That's
a
correct.
patient, and then it's kind of seamless as you take them through the process.
That's exactly right.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Now, I know you were in private practice down in the Houston area for many,
Right.
many years. When did you decide to look into this other area of medicine?
About 2007, the kind of is when the idea, the concept of OB/GYN hospitalist kind of came to be, and I had a real interest in pursuing that. So after 16 years of private practice in the Woodlands, Conroe area, I decided to start it, and we just haven't had the opportunity here in Dallas to do that.
And the timing was right for you,
Right.
too. Let's talk about another area, high-risk perinatal transfers. Why don't you walk the audience through what happens when you actually transfer these critically ill?
The Ob-Gyn hospitalist program, that's one of the benefits of an Ob-Gyn hospitalist program for the facility, is that we can accept high-risk maternal transports from outlying areas, pregnant moms that are having complications or high-risk pregnancies, threatened preterm deliveries, hypertensive disorders of pregnancy, where the moms need a higher level of care. And they can be transferred here to Medical City where we can provide that, and obviously have the level 3 NICU that can take care of those babies should they go on and deliver.
Right. And then also there, Specialty Obstetrics Referral Center, that's under your jurisdiction as well.
That's
so why don't you
true.
explain what that's
Yeah.
all about?
The medical director for Specialty Obstetrics Referral Center, which is an outpatient facility here at Medical City. A very unique population of patients. It is a referral clinic only, and the only patients that are referred to that facility are pregnant moms that have been identified as carrying a baby with a known congenital birth defect.
Right.
And we take those patients in on a referral basis, provide their prenatal care, and then are able to deliver those patients here at Medical City, where we have the entire facility, the capabilities to take care of those babies once they're born.
What percentage of the population that doesn't have access to good prenatal care, they come in after the fact and then the congenital defect is not detected until they give birth to the child? Does the dynamic of the care change radically at that point?
Well, fortunately, there's not too many patients these days that don't have access to prenatal care. Now, whether they decide to get the prenatal care is a whole other issue.
That's the key question, yeah.
So yes, we do have a small percentage of patients every year that show up thinking they're here to have a normal baby that have received no prenatal care, and in fact that baby has a severe congenital birth defect. But fortunately, the majority of the patients that we see are referred in have already been identified as having a baby with a congenital birth defect. And what this provides is an opportunity for a patient to come into a facility where the maternal care, the obstetrical care, the delivery, and the postpartum care and the neonatal care can all be provided to the patient under one roof.
Right.
As opposed to delivering a patient in a facility, then having the baby transferred out to a children's hospital or a tertiary care facility that can take and separating the mom and baby.
Dr. Farley, on the Specialty Referral Center, could you give us, what are the common scenarios you're finding with this population? The most common problems that you're identifying prior to these women giving birth in terms of congenital problems?
The majority of the congenital birth defects that we see are cardiac or heart defects.
Has there ever been a study on why that's the case?
I don't think that it's any different than it has been for years.
Really? Okay.
I think it's our ability to diagnose early, and our ultrasound techniques that can identify those defects, even the mildest of defects, at a very early gestational age. So instead of those the diagnosis being made at or shortly after delivery, when the baby's having complications, we're identifying a lot more of those defects during the prenatal phase.
Right.
Yeah.
Just talk again about the FACOG program. It literally is such a family environment here at Medical City Children's, where we just interviewed a young mom who's got an infant, a patient from Dr. Mendeloff's, and she's been here for 4 weeks literally, and your staff essentially in the support team becomes a second family to these moms and husbands.
And also when the patients are pregnant, they spend a lot of time on our antepartum unit as well. Sometimes weeks before they even deliver the baby.
Right.
And so it really becomes somewhat of a family throughout the entire hospital. Yeah.
I'm sure over your stellar career that you've really formed close bonds with your patients. I mean, many times docs will stay with the family for years just following up with how the child has been doing and so forth.
Yes, that's true. And I think the neonatal intensive care especially, because the babies oftentimes will spend weeks or months here. And so the relationships that develop there are very dynamic, long-lasting, and they have anniversary parties actually every year for those families to come back and reunite with the healthcare team that took care of the baby those months it spent in the neonatal intensive care unit. Yeah.
Now I understand you're a dad yourself. How many kids do you have?
4 kids.
4 kids. Okay. Yep. And what woman would you say has had the biggest influence on your life?
What woman?
What woman or women?
Women.
Women.
Well, if I didn't answer this, my mother and my wife.
There you go. You check those 2 blogs.
Tonight, so.
You can go home without
That's right. I feel good about
incurring a bullet here. What are some most exciting things you're seeing on the horizon relative to your area of specialization? New technology or just
I think what I referred to earlier, the early identification of problems with pregnancies, and of course the expanding ability to take care of those problems. We take care of mothers that are carrying babies with congenital birth defects that as recent as 10 years ago.
These babies would not have made it?
Exactly. And so just the technology and the ability of these wonderful surgeons to take care of things is just amazing these days. Yeah.
And just in closing, we have a little less than a minute, but do you, how have you viewed personally your own idea of life and death, given on a daily basis what you see here, the tremendous work being done, but sometimes babies don't make it? So has it kind of changed your life personally in terms of the value of life and how you look at things?
Well, every life is precious, I tell you, and it's a really special group of moms to take care of. We don't always know what the outcome is going to be. We sometimes think we do, and we base that on past experiences and past surgeries and past outcomes. But we've seen a lot of really good outcomes from what we suspected were going to be bad, and we've seen some really bad outcomes from what we suspected were going to be good.
Right.
So you never know what's going to happen after that baby's born.
Right.
So.
Well, Dr. Farley, it's been an absolute honor having you on the program. If our audience wants to get information on Quest Care, get a hold of you or your team, what's the best way for them to?
Easy, just to go to questcare.com.
Questcare.com. Let me high five you on a good, easy website address, right?
Thank you very much. That's right.
Right, there you go. And go Texas Raiders, right?
It's Guns Up.
Guns Up, see. I went to Stephen
Longhorn.
F. Austin. What am I going to know? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, with Dr. Wayne Farley, we're here talking about the FACOG program at Medical City Children's Hospital. This is Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women. We'll be back in a moment.